Now, Mr. George, Ms. Shamfa Cudjoe, Tobago West incumbent, made a statement recently that the 2025 elections are about national issues and not THA issues. For issues in Tobago, can those two categories, THA and national, be separated, and using what measure if they could be separated?
It should not be separated. As a matter of fact, as the Member of Parliament for Tobago West in waiting, right? One of the first things I'm going to do when I go down to Trinidad, I'm going to make sure that we turn the Tobago House of Assembly from being a $2.6 billion a year institute to being a 4-point-something to 5-point-something billion a year institute. How do I do that? In 2013, the UNC proposed a bill, right, that would have seen Tobago get at least 8% of the national budget. The PNM rejected it entirely because it was the UNC. Then the PNM proposed a bill more recently, and the UNC rejected it entirely because it's the PNM. What if a bill was to be constructed whereby only the things that are agreed upon in both situations, the UNC bill and the PNM two bills, is put together? Then how are you going to debate against that? And then you have a situation where it passes. And here is why it is going to be way more easier when you have an independent member of parliament sitting in the House of Representatives, because I would not care who happens to be the political party in charge of the Tobago House of Assembly. One of the reasons why they don't want the bill passing whilst the other party is in charge is because they know what happened in 2001. In 2001, the Tobago House of Assembly evolved from being a $350 million per year institution to becoming almost a $2 billion a year institution almost overnight as a result of the Dispute Resolution Commission. And as a result of that influx of money, it was very difficult to remove the PNM, and they were able to stay there for a whole 2 decades plus. And so that is what they are afraid of. You need somebody who is going to go there, who is not going to be afraid of anything, who does not have ties to any political parties, so that that part of the equation is no longer having a paralyzing effect on the economic growth of Tobago.
So you're saying there's no difference between THA issues and national issues?
No, I'm not saying there are no differences. There are differences, which is why we have general elections and THA elections. I'm saying that you do not separate the issues. You want to use the two to work together. You don't deal with them as if they are separate. That is probably, Shamfa probably did that because she did not accomplish enough as the Member of Parliament for Tobago West. So she's probably trying to create a division that does not need or supposed to be there. But in reality, you need to have a symbiotic relationship between central government and THA.
My follow-up question would be, what are some of the national issues that are critical to Tobago that should be heard on the platform presently?
One of the national issues that need to take place on the platform right now, we have our secured, when it comes to security of our borders, our marine territory, we are doing horribly. The Coast Guard does not have most of their boats, I think any of their boats up and running up until the last time I watched, and look what is happening here in Tobago. A lot of people who are not very close to the ground, and the former MP here talked about people who are not on the ground, and so when they call a snap election, you're not ready to hit the ground. As somebody who is on the ground, I can tell you right now, Tobago is seeing a cocaine epidemic, and that cocaine epidemic and addiction epidemic could have been avoided if we were protecting our barriers, and it is much easier to protect the coastline of Tobago since you have much less coastline. And so the two need to work where that is
Any other national issues that you think are critical to Tobago that should be on the platform?
Tobago is not doing well enough where education is concerned, and when you look at the 5th schedule of Act 40 of 1996, you would see that one of the responsibilities that fall under the Tobago House of Assembly is education, and whoever put that there was brilliant because they put in open brackets, curriculum, close brackets included.
But let me interrupt you.
And so we could customize our...
Isn't that a THA issue rather than a national issue, especially as it falls under the 5th schedule?
If THA doesn't want to do the job, central government has the ability to do the job of making sure that our curriculum is customized in such a way that it helps the Tobago students who are not doing as well on average as the average district in Trinidad right now.